we were talking to Jim Bolger from Earth Energy FX about some printing work we were doing for him, and he had said that if we ever put an addition on our building in our printing business, that we should consider using geothermal there. And so I kept that in the back of my mind, and a number of years later we were looking at replacing our heating system in our house, and Janice and I talked about maybe we should look into geothermal. So we called Jim and talked to him a little bit about it, and he gave us a DVD to watch. And so we watched the DVD, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and we came in and we were sitting sort of talking about if this is something we'd like to do. And so that was sort of the end of it. We ate supper, and the next morning we woke up and our furnace wasn't on. It was quite cool in the house, and we thought, uh-oh, maybe we left this too long. And I went downstairs and I just turned the breaker, and on the furnace came, and it stayed on. So we thought, well, that's a sign that we have to do something. So we then met with Jim, and we talked about installing a geothermal system in our house to replace our furnace and air conditioner. And we had the system installed on our front yard in an area of about 15 by 20 feet. And they drilled 4 holes, 180 feet deep. And so it was a very small footprint on our lawn. And we have about a 2,500 square foot house.
There was a gentleman came one morning, and he trimmed the front tree. We have a large tree in the front yard, and he trimmed that a bit so the drill, because the drill is quite high, wouldn't damage the tree. So he trimmed the tree, and that was pretty much all they had to do before they drilled. Yeah. And but the process from start to finish, including redoing our front lawn so you didn't know anybody was even there, only took, was it maybe 2 weeks? Max?
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
Maximum 2 weeks.
When it was finished, you would have never known they were here. Mm-hmm. Like, it just didn't look any different than before they started. So that was very pleasing to see that everything was just like it was before. The system that we have is the Next Energy, and it was installed by EarthFX and Jim Bolger's company. We've had the system for just about 2 years, and we've had no maintenance, no service calls of any sort since we got it. So it's been a very reliable system. And one of the things I actually often think about is, it's going to run out of heat in the ground, because it keeps taking heat out and heat out and heat out, but it's never been an issue. It's never run any different. One of the engineers that was involved in the installation told us that actually in the summertime, when you're using your air conditioner, you're actually storing heat in the ground, because you're actually taking the heat out of the air and putting it into the ground, and that when you start to heat your house, it actually makes it more efficient for the first month or 6 weeks, because it takes that heat back out. So it's really kind of an interesting. Now that we've got the system, we really like it.
Really like it.
We find the heat is much more even, and you don't get cold spots or warm spots. It's not as dry because it's not as hot a heat. It's like a gas furnace. The air coming out is quite hot. This is more warm, so you don't have the dryness. The air conditioner is something else. The air conditioning side of it works unbelievably well compared to a traditional air conditioning unit. Plus, it's silent. You have no compressor running in your backyard when you're trying to have a barbecue or anything like that. It's just, I mean, I can hear the neighbors on both sides running, but ours is silent. You can't hear it, and that's really nice. The air conditioning seems to be really inexpensive. This past summer was a very hot summer, and we had the air conditioner on probably more than we ever had it on, partly because it's a new system. But we tried to figure out if we even spent $100 on the whole summer, and I don't know if we spent much more than that air conditioning this house for the entire summer. It just seems amazing that it costs so little. We kept expecting a higher bill than what we got. The heating side, we probably cut our heating costs in half. For us, some of it was a cost, but I think as much as this cost savings was the impact it had on the environment, we were concerned about that, and we wanted to sort of do our part. So, well, the other thing that we purchased with it was the hot water preheat that actually heats. We have a second hot water tank that's not plugged in, and so the water that circulates through the heat exchanger goes into the first hot water tank and warms that water, and it gets quite warm. You could easily have a shower in that water. That's how warm it gets. And that preheats the water that goes into the hot water tank. So you're saving energy by preheating your hot water. And even the resale of the property, I'm sure, would be worth more knowing that it had a system like this. And so if you came that you had to sell the house in 5 or 10 years, that not only would you probably recoup most of your investment, you probably would get more for the home, being that it has this system installed.